Okay, we're live and we're going. I now talk. Okay, 5 seconds delayed this time. I got it down to 5 seconds. Fantastic. All right. Hi, Tim. Hi, Ashling. I know I'm 1 minute late. By the way, I'm live on my channel, in case I was wondering. I think it's funny that YouTube sends an email for that. Like, just in case you wanted to know, you're live. I guess someone could impersonate me and decide to go live. For anyone joining us for the first time, I'm Elizabeth Ann West. It looks like we only have 6 viewers right now, so we're all getting in the house. Yeah, it's a lazy Wednesday afternoon. I work with, I don't work with, my goodness. I am CEO of Future Fiction Academy, fearless leader and all that jazz. Future Fiction Academy is a group of authors. There's 5 of us. We created an academy to teach how to write with AI because I think that this is the newest thing, the new emerging skill. This is going to be what defines the future. And no, there's not really any reality where you can just click a button and out pops a book. All of us have to direct how we want to use the AI and everything like that. This morning, I got to hear from a member. I won't out her, but we had a member that they had a book that they wrote in a year. And now with AI, they were able to finish the project in 19 days. And the book has 5-star reviews and is very popular with readers and everything like that. And this is what the future is, humans working with AI. I look at it like anybody ever wished like they got their letter from Hogwarts, or that Professor Xavier came and said, you get to go to the school for gifted children because you're a mutant and you can laser beam with your eyes somebody. All of these things. I felt like AI was that superpower. We always see those stories and things like that. Like, I can remember when I was a kid, there was a show called The Secret World of Alex Mack on Nickelodeon, where Alyssa Olenek was walking down the street and like this toxic stuff spilled on her. And suddenly she had powers to turn into a puddle and everything like that. And we always wonder, if the call came for us, would we answer the call? Would we step up and be supernatural or gifted or exceptional? And I think AI, where it is right now, this is kind of that opportunity to decide. These superpowers are available for anybody who wants to pick them up. And we're seeing now who's willing to pick them up, and who's like, no, la 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 la. I'm going to pretend that this isn't happening. There's no AI. We're all safe. I'm not in that second group, obviously. And hopefully that wasn't too loud because I plugged my ears and I couldn't hear myself. All right. Ashling says, you're watching me on the big TV. Oh, dear. And cuddled under a blanket with your kitties. Oh, good for the kitties. Yes, I love my superpowers too. Absolutely. Plus 1,000 for the superpowers. Okay. So let's go ahead and get working this afternoon. We only have a handful of people, and that's A-okay. Rexy got a huge update. I got to preview him a little bit this morning in one of our lab sessions where I was going through the basics of prompting and stuff like that. And now I finally have learned what those other tokens do. But I haven't figured out how to use them exactly. I mean, I know how they work. I just haven't played with them to optimize them yet. So without further ado, I will get started with writing, and we'll just make this kind of like a legitimate, write with me. So here we go. Any requests before I pop over into the share my screen? Anything that I've gone over that you've seen that you wanted more guidance on or more instructions on, or any questions that anyone has about continuing a book using AI? I can wait a few minutes while the questions come in. I know, watching me sip liquid, fantastic fun time. Okay, let me go ahead and add my screen. Okay, so everyone can see my screen okay. And then I'll pop back over here and we'll come down over here and we'll do a quick recap of where the heck we are, because I don't know. All right, we are in session number 4. Okay, we have 2 more sessions on Friday. I was like, I thought we were in session 4, but there's only, okay, 1 more day. There's 2 more sessions. Different tools that I've been using. Rexy, which is the Future Fiction Academy Story Technologies prompting tool. So I have a human plan here. We are nowhere near where I wanted to do 25,000 words. We are at like a paltry 3,000 words, but it's been a little bit more challenging because I haven't been able to get consistent results out, but that's okay. So 3,000 word tokens, and then session 2. Have ready all chapters so far. Oh, I remember what I was going to do today now from last night. We were going to do dictation. Let me pull up the window and see the chat for anybody asking for questions in the chat. Okay, no questions about the chat. You guys are still talking about cats, which I don't dislike cats. I'm allergic, and one attacked me when I was a kid. So they actually don't like me very much. I'm a dog person, but I love that you have your fur babies. That's the important part. Doesn't matter if it's a cat or a dog. If you have something to cuddle, that's always a good thing. Okay, so what I really wanted to play around with was some dictation aspects of it. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so what I'm going to grab is, I have the engagement scene, which I will flesh out more. We already did the surgery scene. That was chapter 18. So I have that in the master outline there. So now I want to go where I know I wrote somewhere of like the train of them were ready to leave or something like that for the Matlocks. Maybe I don't. Okay. The inquest is going to start and all of this and everything there. Okay. I'll go to London. There we go. Okay, so I'm actually going to ask it some questions because I need some help with the story of so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my master outline that I have. Tools. No, edit, select all. And copy. The good news is we already have like the synopsis of chapter 19 and what happens there. So I'm going to come over here to Claude. I think we can ask Claude for this. And I'm going to say, read this outline. My next scene will include Darcy's, Mr. Bingley, Mary Bennet, the Gardners, and the Matlocks and Bromingtons leaving Pemberley for London. Using the information in the outline and what I want for the next scene, portraying that wagon train of carriages to be leaving in January 18. I think we're 1813. We might be 1814. Let me think here. 1811 was the first start. The regular thing happened. Springtime was when Mr. Collins broke beat. So that was 1812. They got married that summer. Then we moved into the fall in book 5, and now we're going into book 6. So that's 1811, 1812. Yeah, 1813. It's January of 1813. Good. And I kind of misspelled. I misspelled portraying here. 1813. To head to London from Derbyshire. So please capture elements of historical accuracy and ambiance. Sure. In your suggestions. Also, they could give Dr. Cooper a lift back to London, but Dr. Matthews stays behind. Oh, that's right, because I got to do that thing with him and Kitty. Okay, that's going to be another scene. This is literally going to be the book that never ends. But that's okay. I originally thought one of the reasons I was stuck on this book is because I thought it might be 2 books. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write everything I can. And I'll look at it. And if it looks like it's actually 2 books, then that's what I'll do. So, but Dr. Matthews stays behind. Please make suggestions for what is needed for the next scene, including all details and instructions to write it. So it's understanding what the next scene will be. And I kind of have like this little bit of a summary here. And we'll let it go. Oh, I have chocolates today, so that I have little treats, little bon mots treats for doing my work. I prompt the AI, I get a piece of dark chocolate. That's how it works in this household. I like this. Elaborate coaches, simply, no, not covered. Okay, covered wagons for the luggage and servants, sure. Mm-hmm. I like that. I love that. Dr. Matthews to reassure them it's only for a short time. It wouldn't be Dr. Matthews. Okay. I love all of this. So I'm trying to think of which tool I want to work with. You know what? We're in Claude. We might as well. We don't have to use Rexy. That's great. You go ahead and write that scene. At least 3,000 words. So this is way easier. I was making life so much complicated for myself. So complicated for myself. Cool. Gloomy gray skies. And this is the best part. I should have packed popcorn because we can just sit here and watch it write. You must bundle up warm. Oh, and it got the lady's maid, Betsy. That's accurate. So remember, the document I'm using is the master outline. It has a list of all the characters and information about them and the settings and what happens in each chapter. And I'm thinking that this is the best way to write with Claude. Oh, and I could... Okay, Elizabeth's married and she's going to. No. No. Okay. Please fix the above where Elizabeth, Mr. Darcy, Mary, Mr. Bingley, Dr. Cooper, and the Gardners, and Matlocks, and Bromingtons all go to London. Here is who stays behind. I need to make a note for myself because I actually have always planned to put I've always planned to ship Dr. Matthews and Kitty. So Dr. Matthews and Kitty, they need to have a moment at the ball. And then anatomical sketches. I don't think I've done that already. Okay. Here's who stays behind at Pemberley. Sir Bennet, ill, recovering from surgery, under the care of Dr. Matthews. Dr. Matthews, Mrs. Bennet, Lydia Bennet, Kitty Bennet, Jane Bingley, the Bingley twins, Lynn and Charlie. Okay. So hopefully that'll give it enough information to make it straight. If not, that might be the kind of task that I would take to ChatGPT. So if it still can't do that, then I will fix it with the corrected set of characters traveling from London to London from Pemberley. So there we go. So we have that all those informations. Mary's going too. Freaking Claude. This is the aggravation that is writing with AI, right? It got it completely off. Oh, we do have a question in the chat. Okay, I'm sorry. Migs or Mig's-Eye. Can you do a brief review of each platform and what their strengths and weaknesses are? I've experienced with many trying to decipher best cases and uses for each. So that is a good question. It's a little bit outside the scope of the Write A Thon, but so ChatGPT is the best for analytical components. So right now, Claude is off the rails. Claude is not behaving whatsoever. It did not do very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm always going to grab this information here. Don't worry, I'll talk to the other things too. And this was 800 words. Okay. So let me bring this into ChatGPT. ChatGPT is better for analytical skills, analytical tasks, but Claude is really great for like coming up with more abstract things. So I'm going to say, read this chapter. And then I'm going to say, please fix it and rewrite it so that the appropriate characters stay home at Pemberley and the characters, you know what? Actually, it can't think. That's the problem. This is one of the things that I just went over this morning and that I taught in class. Please write a report of changes that need to be made given that some characters are going to London and others are staying at Pemberley. Here is the list of characters and where they are, and what their status should be. What their status should be in the scene. And then up at the top, I think I said chapter and I needed to say read this scene. It should be scene. Working in scenes is better than working in chapters when it comes to writing with AI. Okay, going to London. And I'll come over here and grab that information because it's right here. Elizabeth, this and the Bromingtons. I should have probably spelled their name right. Now, one problem is that they're not going to have context on who the heck these characters are that I made up because it's Pride and Prejudice, but Dr. Cooper, surgeon who just worked on Mr. Bennet, Gardners, the Matlocks, and Bromingtons. Oldest son of Lord Matlock and his wife. Okay. Staying at Pemberley would be Mr. Bennet. There we go. So we have that. So I just wanted to make a report of all the changes that need to be made to the scene. So please write a report of changes that need to be made to the scene, given that some characters are going to London and others are staying at Pemberley. Here's the list of characters and what their status should be in the scene. So let's see if it'll give me that report. Once it gives me that report, then I can say, cool, fix it for the, aha, she should be depicted as preparing for London rather than saying goodbye. Perfect. No change needed. He could be introduced and is now preparing to accompany. No change needed. Okay. Brief mention of the condition, such as a comment has recuperating. Mr. Bennet discussing his condition with Mrs. Bennet, assuring of the process. Perfect. This is what I needed it to do. See how this is way more analytical, although I also changed my prompt. She should be the one consoled by Mary, given that her husband is leaving for London with her twins. Okay. And what I love this is that, so these are modifications. And so now I can go, great. Please rewrite the scene with the changes suggested, staying in line with the style, and make it at least 2,000 words long. it doesn't understand that, but I'm just trying to say like it should be long. And changes you requested. See, it cut off how long it's got to be. So let's see if we can get this right. So yeah, ChatGPT, much better for analytical stuff. Claude, though, is really good at getting the flowery bits that I needed to get started with. So it's kind of like layering and building layers. Sudowrite, on the other hand, has a whole host of great reasons to use it. It does charge by the word. So that's where sometimes it can be a little bit challenging for people who are brand new to prompt engineering if they want to be able to test prompts and things like that. The other problem too is like I can't prompt in Story Engine very well like this of like, hey, fix this and here's the instructions, because it doesn't really have a chat interface. I'm not sure if they might be planning to do that, but I don't know now. I haven't been working with them for a while now, but I do think that they plan to have a chat interface at some point. So while I could put kind of this information, like I know how to do it because I helped build Story Engine and things like that, it's not the easiest way to hack it and make Story Engine do what you want it to do. I'm sorry, I realized I was sharing Claude and not this. So that would be my big overview between the two. Claude, we use Claude when we need a big context window, when I need to feed it a lot of information and say, hey, do something with this information, at least to get the ball rolling. Once I get the ball rolling, if I need something that's very more analytical or surgical, I can use OpenAI's either GPT-4 or 3.5 16K. I access the 3.5 16K in their playground. Sudowrite, I use that in my first Write A Thon where I just bam, 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 and I used all of the Story Engine silos to do it. What I do love about Sudowrite is there's the ability to use the laser tools where I can put writing in there and I can highlight a sentence and I can just expand it or anything like that. So that's where Sudowrite really comes in handy there. This actually looks pretty decent. Let's see here. Word counter plus 878. I think it's good for me to get started with it and I can expand it more. That's another thing for something else. So I at least have a rough draft now of chapter 19 where they are going somewhere. And then over here in Rexy, this is a private tool that's only available. It's coming available in September to Future Fiction Academy. It's a custom prompting tool that we built. So I'm going to go to my catalog and I'm going to go to, I don't think I have my summary stuff yet into a catalog yet. So I think it's in brainstorming actually. And yeah, it's story constitution chapter by chapter. All right. So I'm going to load this prompt, which is GPT-4. And once I'm in here, I have the instructions here, read the chapter given. So I will go ahead and put the chapter in here. So that's there. And this can all be cleared out. Oh, I see what we need here. We need a clear button for these. Let me go over here. Clear buttons for boxes. Okay, so that's fine. And delete those. Okay, so I have my chapter in there that I just wrote, and it's going to write me a report for this. GPT-4 should all be set, except my maximum length is too high, and I know that. And then this will actually go to my Notion. It's set up to be able to export whatever an AI, large language model has for me to my Notion. Chapter 19 summary. And yeah, I'm going to click process. I think I'm ready to go. That's the previous completion. Process that. I'm going to need my Brontosaurus pages. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe I can. How do I open Notion in a new tab? I don't know. I mean, I know how to do it. I'm just worried about what Notion page is going to go to. The dashboard's a safe one to go to. Okay, Brontosaurus pages. Cool, because then I have my Elizabeth projects, and that's the page that it all goes to, so that way it'll have that, and I'll go ahead and create a page here to save what I have for mom number 6, chapter 19. And I'll grab that one from here. It's actually saved in my jump cut already. So the cold January air is there. So I have that draft. I'll come over here to no notes because this is where I'm keeping all of my rough draft in case I need I need Claude to basically read everything. So chapter 19. And make this in H1. I like to make my chapters in H1 inside of Google Docs because if you turn on the outline, I can just jump to any page or any chapter basically. And actually, I'm going to paste without formatting. There we go. And it kind of pasted with formatting. Let's turn that into normal text. It still has that weird spacing in between. There is a way to fix it. Usually I don't take the time to do this, but the other thing is running anyway. It's probably done by now. But this way my, and then I figured that would move over. It's not that many paragraphs. It's kind of stunning when you look at it this way. It's not that many paragraphs and things like that. Writing a novel is really just about doing the slicing and dicing and making sure each slice is right. Moving this over so that now it's all imported, and then I'll move it up to 14. Okay, so we have 800 words there. And if I come over back to my Feature Fiction Academy, or my Notion page rather, I should have, what is all of this? Oh, this was a demo from earlier today, which we don't need. Okay, and there I have my summary right there. And the reason I want my summary, this is not chapter 6. I don't know why it thinks it is. It's chapter 19. But it's not chapter 6. It's chapter, oh, because of, yeah, I know why now. Because it's chapter 5 in the thing, in the example. So we have chapter 19, Elizabeth Darcy, Betsy, Dr. Cooper traveling to London for medical knowledge, accompanying the Darcys and Mr. Bingley, Northampton, the town where they rest for the night before continuing to London. I need to check on that, make sure that that's right. The Bromingtons, everything's all good. So this goes into my master outline now, as I basically have committed the change. Like I wrote 19, and then when I write 19 with AI, I then have AI summarize it for me so that I have a summarization that I can kind of check against. So I can always kind of look at things here. So right now, when I'm doing my edits and I have this printed out and I'm looking at it, oh, Jane and Mr. Bingley share a tender moment before his departure. I'm going to go back into that chapter and look for it. And if it's not there, then this actually gives me ideas of what to expand, how to control the pacing. It's almost like a key script or whatever for a director. Because I think writing with AI puts you more as a creative director thing. Yeah, that's the other thing about Sudowrite. Sudowrite is a great place also to write stuff that's not safe for work, because they do have the ability to do that. Other options are Novel AI. And then also, if you want to use one of the larger language models, you just need to give it more context. A lot of times people go straight for the trauma or the sex or the violence. Like I told this morning at a lab, I had Claude write for me a serial killer, write for me all kinds of things. The difference is you just give it a little bit more context before you get to the crux of it. For example, if I really want Claude to do this, I'm going to give it a ton of context. Watch. I am writing a psychological thriller about a detective and a serial killer. And the detective is going to catch the serial killer and restore the peace at the end. I don't have 6 chapters. I have 6 chapters already written. And now I need a chapter that is from the serial killer's point of view, stalking her prey. Yeah, buddy, let's go on a twist, right? Where she has an MO of picking up men who offer to buy her drinks. There we go. She is stalking her next victim. She is 5'5" and not and often described by men as at her face. Meaning she's cute everywhere but her face. When the men follow her to her car and try something, she uses mixed martial arts in the backseat of her. This is so ridiculous. Backseat of her Toyota to disable them. Okay, cool. I have no idea how this is going to work. Please write a scene where the killer is stalking her next victim. At a small bar in a bowling alley. Now, so I have all of that, and watch. Look, it just did it. Why? Because I gave it so much context about this is a book, and don't worry, the detective's going to catch her in the end, and here's all this information. So does that make sense to everyone about how you can get it to do things that it doesn't normally want to do, because you just have to dial up the context. You can't just give it. And if you want more, before my knife opened up his throat. Great. Let's pick up walking me right to my car and punch up the thriller aspect, make it seem he might get away, and make the reader nervous. There we go. And it will just do it. As far as sex goes, I've gotten it to go as far as, the Harlequin levels. It'll talk about romanticized names for body parts and things like that. So now it's picking it up. Tonight I was on the hunt. The hunt was over for now. Okay. So we can start to get some better stuff out of it. Does that make sense to everyone? I'll check the chat here. Yes, you can't just prompt. You have to prime the prompt. Very much so. So glad everyone got a wow on that one. It takes, you can, if you practice your prompt engineering and everything like that, you can get it. You just have to fundamentally understand this thing works in tokens. This thing does not work in whole sentences. So you have to basically front load it with enough tokens. I am writing a psychological thriller about a detective and a serial killer, and the detective is going to catch the serial killer and restore peace at the end. I have 6 chapters already written. No, you don't. But I told it that there's already 6 chapters, and now I need a chapter that's written so that the AI thinks, oh, okay, this use case this is a writer. They already have these chapters, and I'm just writing this part of it, that they have the context of where this could be safe for use. And obviously, I am not jailbreaking it. Okay. That's not what this is, because I'm not writing pornographic material. I'm not writing, child pornography or anything like that. I'm not writing anything here that is not, that you can't see on broadcast TV, sometime after 7:00 at night. But it is just getting around the parameters that are designed to stop other uses. If someone's here like, I want to play serial killer, let me play serial killer. That may not be the healthiest use of using the AI. But if you are actually writing a book and everything like that, then you're going to need to bring your credentials and your abilities as a writer to prompt it the correct way. So you'll see here, I have very clearly characterization. Even if the AI was analyzing this to be like, is this a real prompt, or are they just jailbreaking it by saying, oh, they're writing a book? I described who my character is. I kind of gave a reason for why she is what she is. Some of us have heard the phrase butterface. So being cute everywhere but her face. And then the men following her out to her car, and she disables them. So that's the secret, I guess, for today. Let me check the chat real fast. Yeah, even the news. Exactly. So if you start to think about, how does my application look like a newsreel or something like that, that's how you can do that. And look, it'll even title A Killer's Hunt at the Bowling Alley Bar. Who I want to use that as a book title now, right, Leland? It's a good that is such a pulpy title. Sorry to lose it, but that's the thing. Now let's see if ChatGPT can do the same thing, shall we? I know, field trip, right? We're the worst. Go there. Hey, I already got 1,000 words written, right? I got 1,000 words written in the first 20 minutes. Predator in plain sight. There we go. I actually like this one a little bit better. Now, what's interesting is Claude put it in first person. I didn't really tell it that other than I said I want it from her point of view. ChatGPT is doing third person. And then after this, I'll show you an application for Sudowrite. Oh, wow. Her fingers found pressure points. Her knees pinned his arms. Oh, she suffocated him. And the world would never suspect the petite woman with the unremarkable face. So there we go. Okay. So here's where Sudowrite can really help. Not that Sudowrite can't write that as well. If I come into Sudowrite, and you'll see, do I use Sudowrite? Yes, I use Sudowrite a lot. Let me go into here. I'll just do a new one. And I'll just call this a Write A Thon. All right, when I paste that in, now I was able to read it as I can read as fast as the AI outputs. Well, I can skim. But let's go to this top part where it kind of summarized they were talking. He signaled the bartender. They walked through the parking lot. Where was it? This part right here. He signaled this one here. And this little part, it kind of jumped the pacing. So if I just want to expand that, I just highlight that paragraph. It was 48 words. And I want to expand it. Stirring her straw in a slow, so she kept her gaze downcast. I just needed to change the scenery. He asked her questions. Hours passed. So again, it'll still summarize a little bit more, but I kind of like this. So he signaled the bartender. So he tried to engage her in small talk. And so you can literally kind of like keep expanding and keep expanding. So if I grab this part here, that is 48 words. Let's see how many that is when I put it in. Where's my cursor? Right there. Okay, so right here. So that's already expanded it fourfold. So 4x, because now we're at 175. And then I grab right here, as they waited for drinks, I can click rewrite and I can say customize, add more dialogue, make him a little braggadocious. Hopefully I can spell that right. And click go. I obviously misspelled that word. Hopefully it'll figure it out. And now all of a sudden I have more things here. There's a little bit problems with point of view because it jumped into his head with he was pleased. So you'd have to rewrite that too. So I put that in here and then I grab where that's messed up. He was pleased. I need to rewrite that and I can go customize and I can say, change this so it's observed behavior, not in his head. I don't know if that's going to work. We'll see what that does. I may have to tweak that prompt. It's not usually a prompt that I would use it that way. He beamed with confidence. So it kind of got the idea here. The corners of his mouth curled up, his eyes twinkled with pleasure as she hung on every word he said, prompting him to venture further into the story. And yep, so I wanted that right there. Paste that in there. Finally, their drinks. And so there you go. So now all of a sudden I have 729 words. My original was 573. So that's 200 words like that quick. That's how you can use Sudowrite. And we have many more labs and instructions and stuff like that on how to really play with these various tools. I think it really kind of does turn into like an orchestra. You are the creative director. You're either directing the orchestra, like, okay, I need more violins. Yo, chill out, violas. Whatever you need to do. Or if you want to think of yourself as like a movie director, same kind of philosophy here. Different AI models will give you different materials. So if you're thinking of it like actors on a stage, like, give me more. No, not that much more, too much more. Give me less. And then also you're playing that role of like master editor in that moment of, cut that scene, cut that crap out. Nope, don't want that. Ooh, grab this and bring this in. You can actually play with it. And that's my favorite part of all of this. Now I got to get back to my story because I want to try to finish this thing. Okay. Oh yeah. In Future Fiction Academy, we jump all the time. On ChatGPT, I got a lot of orange replies, orange prompts, but I submitted to review and they're all cleared. Okay. That same prompt that we just did, We're Cynical, Why Wolf? I love your YouTube name, by the way. That's just hilarious. We're Cynical, Why Wolf? Yes, creative paradigm. Very much a shift from... It kind of is and it's kind of not, because the writer used to be a very critical point of developing. They would always be on set and kind of like making the choices and decisions and stuff right there as they were working with the script. I realized that part of the strike that's going on right now, that's one of the sources of contention and things like that. I don't really think that AI is going to take our jobs unless we let them, unless we join the it doesn't exist group. I don't think this is going to take our jobs. These are the superpowers. Pick them up, run with them, do superpowery things now that you have this insane power of story that you can sit there and go, what does this look like if we make her 6'1" and a model? And so they still underestimate her and she can totally kick their butts in the parking lot. Or, oh, let's make her a grandma. She's 62. And they really just they really think that they're going to just like steal money from her or whatever. And she can kick their butts. Whatever you want to do. Or you want to make the character male and make them a serial killer or something. You can do that too. I'm not trying to say, you can't do more expected things with the AI. You absolutely can. But yeah, that's my favorite part is going back and forth and picking up all the tools. Another analogy I've used is like an artist picking up different paintbrushes. You don't always pick up the same paintbrush when you're painting. You would usually have multiple brushes unless even Bob Ross had different paintbrushes. All right. So I need to do chapter 20 now. So I'm going to come back to my breadcrumbs that I left myself here. So I have this there. And then I think I want to do a scene that's not planned out here, which is Jane and DeBerg having false labor, I think. So they're going to go there, the inquest to start. So we're not there yet. Okay. Townhome. Cool. We will do all of that. So I want to come back to Claude and come back to my chat that I had open here, which was this one, the surgery success and Matlock's concern for his wife, I guess. Yeah, it wrote this. Okay. So I'm going to grab this information and I'm going to grab my master outline now that I have chapter 19 already done too. And it was expanded and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and go tools and grab, what do I want to grab? File. Oh, what do I want to, this is where, like, I've just been doing so much. Okay, so yeah, select all. That's what I want to do. I want to copy this. That's losing my marbles here. I'm going to go ahead and start with a new chat because I don't want it tainted by what's already there. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in the outline that's there. That's that outline. And then I'm going to paste in that exact same prompt that I did before of like, read this outline. My next scene will include, okay, will include Richard and Anne Fitzwilliam at the Matlock townhouse. where they are overseeing preparations for the arrival of Richard's parents, Lord and Lady Matlock, and the Viscount Bromington and his wife. Okay, so that's the next scene. And then while they are overseeing staff, Anne begins to have labor pains. And Dr. Oh, I don't know the name of the doctor. There's so many doctors in this story. I have too many doctors. He's the mentor of Dr. Matthews. Dr. Sims. There we go. I knew it was in chapter 1. So that's how I had that. And this is a good mirror back to that. Dr. Sims is called while Richard freaks out. But his estimation is that it is false labor pains. It won't be long now. Near the end of the scene, the Matlocks and Bromingtons arrive, thinking the baby is on its way. But Richard says, no, false alarm. He has a drink in the study with his father, where they plan out how Lord Matlock will try to delay the inquest. Ambiance is Lord Matlock tired from the blasted carriage ride, from being in a carriage. But also annoyed. Also too agitated. Sit for one more minute. While Lord Bromington cannot wait, is bored and useless, and cannot wait to go call on some acquaintances, which Lord Matlock expressly forbids. Richard teases his brother, the Viscount, his brother James, the Viscount Bromington. Go ahead and kill himself. He will happily take his place if he won't stay clean for his wife. If James won't remain. That's what it is. Pronouns screw up the idea for it can mess up the AI. If James won't step up to his responsibilities. James sulks away to his room. And Lord Matlock tells Richard he wishes he didn't bait his brother so. And Richard says, you didn't read the letter we received about his behavior at Pemberley. Kind of hinting that they told, because he was a rake. He was not well behaved. Okay. So there we go. Let's go Gadget and get that. My dog needs to go out. Apologies. Go ahead, Dasha. Oh. Okay, so now we have this, and I gave a lot of information for this thing. I didn't tell it to write 3,000 words. So anxiously awaits. Okay, happy to keep brainstorming ideas. Actually, please write a detailed and extensive first draft of that scene following my instructions and your story beats, and make it at least 5,000 words. Okay. Now, another way you can kind of do this is with Story Engine. What's kind of cool about this is if I come over to Story Engine with Sudowrite, you only are required to have stuff in the outline box. So if you go Act 1, you have to have a hyphen for the Chapter 1. Okay. So we have that information, and Claude was just so kind enough to give us the characters and the information about them, so I could extend them for what I need to know. And it also was kind enough to give me the information about the story beats. So I could just put that into the beats, but it's going to generate the beats based off of the brain dump, the genre, the style, and the synopsis. Let's go ahead and do synopsis, and we'll put that in there. And we'll also put the setting information in there because, quite frankly, the boxes are a little bit immaterial. It's going to look at all the boxes when it makes the beats anyway. So I'm going to do that, and then I can say Regency Romance. Jane Austen. Variation. Style. All right, I'm just going to click Match My Style. I created the prompting for this tool, so I know it works. For me, anyway. I'm going to grab the... Actually, I'm not going to grab this because the AI wrote that. Let me go grab a chapter I wrote that I know that I want to use. So we'll go with this one. That's probably too many words, but that's okay. Put that in there. Next. Nope, it's fine. It was 895 words. So that's going. While that's running, we'll check on Claude and see how Claude's doing. Okay, so it actually wrote pretty decent. I said at least 5,000 words, and we got, because there was more meat. Oh, it's still going. Okay. Thank goodness we unlocked Claude. Claude has been a snit these last few days of only writing 800 words. I thought it was broken. I must not have just given it enough meat. So, okay, I'm going to check the chat. Okay, so we have all of this. Cool. I'm happy with it. Next, compress the style. Doot, 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 doot. I know I'm running two tools at once. Welcome to the Elizabeth Show, where third-person limited perspective with formal, sophisticated vocabulary, conflict between personal desires, societal expectations is a recurring theme, steady pacing. Sure, that's good enough. I don't care. Go here, and then I can generate the beats for chapter 1. And literally, it's not a story engine. I basically made it a chapter engine. I just gave the information for the chapter. This is one of the hacks for Story Engine, because Story Engine is prepared enough, is robust enough to do a whole bunch of different stuff. And now we have here that he should kill himself. And great. And this one, I can click Best Prose and it'll just run. And now we're good to go. Let's go here and we'll compare the two. Oh my goodness, this is still going. All looks to be progressing. First address in my place so that I might remain here. Why is he making an address? Oh, I see. He wanted James to do it. Lady Matlock didn't want to talk. Got it. Okay. Your faith does me credit. Okay, cool. I hope it doesn't have the baby have the baby. I hope it doesn't have Anne have the baby. Oh, man. It's going to have her have the baby. You know what? That's fine. I can break these apart and they can be two different scenes. It's not a big deal. You have a healthy grandson. Nope, not a grandson. It should be a granddaughter. That's fine. It's okay. We'll do that there. It's good enough, but just, okay, continue. But it's a granddaughter. Cool. And just because the AI does eat things, I want to capture this very, very quickly. This is a lot of words, everyone. Holy Toledo. Word counter plus 3,000 words. My stars. Okay. So I'm going to come back over here to the projects, and this is chapter 20 version Claude 2.0. Oh, that did not work. Number 6, and you can turn that into a page. Turn into a page. Click on this. And actually, I want to capture all that stuff that I got as the prompt because this was a good prompt. So there we go for there. Because I may try to work with that prompt. Okay, so it answered that, and then this, and then I want the last little bit here to continue on because it kept going. Okay, perfect. Oh, and perfect. They were going to name her Elizabeth as well. I knew that. That was my original plan. Good job, Claude. You knew that Elizabeth's been so important. She was actually the witness at their clandestine wedding that made Lady Catherine so mad. All right. So we got a really good bit of material from Claude 2.0. I'm so grateful. I will check the chat because I know you guys all got to see that. So let's see. We're going to go back to Sudowrite because it had to run. We got 2562. And there we go. It's got some material there. So I cannot stand by while our family. Again, what do you mean? Forgive me, I spoke without thinking. Get some rest. You look dead on your feet. Yes, sir. So don't hate this. I will copy this and I will come over here to my projects. I'll have more organization soon, but right now this works. We'll make a page and we'll call it Mom number 6, chapter 20, Sudowrite's Prose version. And then when I do that with Sudowrite, I'm going to paste in the chapter. I also always like to keep the beats too. So we'll grab the beats because I don't like to throw away any AI words. Okay. We are at an hour and we are doing much better than what we have been doing. So now I have chapter 20. You know, it's that one thing that was really long. I could go read through this, but what I think is helpful is if I was to grab this chapter 20, the one that's like super long from Claude. Let's go ahead and grab this. Scroll down. Oh, let me take out the continue. Okay, so this is where it picked up. Boop. And right here, so I grabbed this entire chapter because it's a lot of words to validate, right? Well, what can always help you validate it is if I use the summary tool, I will grab here and put this. I pasted all of that in. GPT-4, it knows what to do, chapter and chapter, and then now I can do this and it's chapter 20 summary. And it'll go to that same page of Claude 2.0 version. What's helpful about this is that if I have the summary, I can go through it and I can identify what's already wrong with it. And then I can go to the prose and find, kind of identify the areas that I really need to fix it to see if it's off the rails. Okay. I'm going to go check the chat to make sure. So yeah, the Sudowrite wrote pretty darn close to what I got in Claude 2.0. And I'll be honest with you, Claude 2.0 has been very persnickety lately. Last couple of days, everyone who's been working with Claude, can you guys attest? Like, has it been misbehaving for you all? At all? Not writing as long as you want. I mean, you guys can definitely see it in the definitely see it in the Write A Thon that we've been doing too. So yeah, it drifts. More specifically, it hasn't been writing as long as it should have been. Last couple of days, we have not been able to get 3,000 words out of it to save our lives. Okay, so this one's calling API, OpenAI. I'm not, oh, you know what? It might be too long. Maybe not. 3,000 words. Okay, because the maximum length was pretty low. So here's the completion. This is the cool thing about Story Engine. That is not the right completion at all. Go back to the prompt. What the heck happened? Chapter 20. Example report. Okay, it does not have the right chapter in there. Let's oh, it did not save it. Okay. This is something I have a problem with in Notion sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't actually save what I copy and paste. So that was my bad. So I'll put that there. I'll come over to the mom page to the projects and delete this one because it's not the right chapter. So delete that. This wasn't, Rexy didn't mess up. I messed up. So now it has that information, 1,800, 3,000 is about 5,000 words. That's really on the high end. Let's bring the maximum length down to like 1,300 tokens. That gives it like 1,000 words. Update. See if it deletes. Okay, cool. Process. Let's see if that'll work. I wanted to make sure that the token length doesn't exceed the 8,000 tokens. So if my chapter's 3,000 words, that pretty much uses up half of the tokens. And then my prompt has about 1,000 tokens to it. So that's right around 4,000 tokens. So that maximum length, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to hit it or anything, which ideally I'd have 4,000 more tokens, but you just never know. Okay, come back to here. Okay, 20,000 words, but not what you wanted. Got it. As the eldest sibling and Claude changed it to the youngest. It weirded me out. Yeah, sometimes Claude's like, I substitute your story and put in my own, or I reject your story and substitute my own, rather, I guess, is what really it is. So it is the magic school bus of AI. I agree. I'm reading the older chat. My daughter loved Magic School Bus, and the kids I babysat love Magic School Bus. So beep, beep, everyone. And I love that the little lizard on there was called Liz. So I always like that. But yeah, just call me Miss Frizz. We're going to go on a field trip. We're just going to go. we did Pride and Prejudice and serial killers. I mean, that's what we did today. So good. Oh, we have a new one. What is this? I don't even know what this is. This does not make any sense. Hold on. Okay, so I have this information in here. Let's see what the heck happened in the completion. Oh, this is where it broke before. Okay, this is why this is not available for everyone yet. So this is where, sorry, my dog. Come on, Dasha. I know, you ate your dinner. I don't usually do things at this hour because I know better. This is the problem. It did not have a chapter. Like, it literally did not have a chapter, so it completely hallucinated one. This is one of the things that that is going wrong with Rexy right now, and why he is kind of new. So we'll refresh the page here, and I'm going to go to load a different prompt just to make sure I clear out my prompt. So yeah, that's pitch and hooks. Okay, so I'll go back to my catalog. I don't know what causes that, but the developer will definitely be able to figure it out. So it's back to EAW. It is brainstorming, isn't it? Yeah, story constitution, chapter by chapter. Load the prompt. Go to the prompt. Okay, so there's the chapter. And then this one is read the chapter, give that. Auto write to Notion. Let's try this again. I want this, and I'm going to delete the hallucination that is Dr. Sinclair and Lily. Delete. Paste that in. Elizabeth Fitzwilliam, she'll be a credit to her family. To Elizabeth, cool beans. Everything should be good to go. Chapter, yep. Process. I knew the tokens were too many. Yeah, 7,000 is way too many. Let's try that one. And process. Okay, so now it's, oh, I did it again. It deleted the chapter again. Stop. This is why this tool is not available. It's really fussy right at the moment. And that's because, this thing is like a week old in the current incarnation. So we're building it as fast as we can, but this is not, when you're dealing with text, it's really not as easy as it seems like it would be. So let's try this. Nope, that's not what I want. I want to paste in the chapter, the bustling energy. Got that. Got that. Okay, bring down the tokens and update, and let's see if it deleted what's in there. It did not delete what's in there that time. Okay, just click out of there. Auto write to Notion. Chapter summary. Okay, that time I kept it. Good, good, good. See, third time's the charm. No big deals. Come here to the chat. Okay, nobody's chatting yet. Yep, and we'll be wrapping up this session here in about a couple of minutes here, but I'm happy. I got over 3,000 words to play with and edit, and I think that's actually going to end up being 2 chapters. It wasn't a chapter I had planned, but I definitely enjoy this methodology of writing books more than my old methodologies. It was similar though, because similarly, like you guys see me making these prompts on the fly in Claude where I'm writing this. This is stuff that I would have, my old process, I would have captured it, handwriting it into a composition notebook. And you can see it's very stream of consciousness. It's very like, and then they say this, and then this happens. Or no, wait, this has to go happen before that. As I'm talking out the scene of what happens, I come up with what needs to happen in the scene. And then sometimes stuff needs to happen at the beginning of the scenes, and I just draw arrows and stuff. With writing it out, I can actually change the typing. And then the old ways for me before AI, which it still was a natural language processor, so it was still an NLP, would be for me to use Dragon. And I would read these notes to myself, and then I would close my eyes and I would hold up my phone, or usually I actually would have, you see if I've got one right here, handy dandy. Usually I do. I don't really use them anymore, so it's not as handy dandy, but usually there's one in the top drawer, but there's not right now. I would have an MP3 recorder so I would look like an old-fashioned reporter. Actually, I would take my daughter to the playground or to the casino, where the casino had a playground. It had like a Chuck E. Cheese type area. She could go there for like $10 an hour. There was an indoor slide and video games and stuff for her to play with. We lived in Connecticut at the time. So she would go there and I'd get a cup of coffee and I would go find like a quiet area of the hotel or something to sit in. $10 babysitting for the hour. You can't blame it. And I'm right there. So if there's a problem, they could call me. And I would dictate into the little recorder. And I would just, close my eyes or be looking at something, kind of staring off into space. And when I was reading this, I would then like start saying the scene of like the Matlock townhouse, da 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 da, old suits of armor, the snobby butler polishing the silver, and I would just dictate it. Then I would transcribe that dictation. I could usually get in about 12 minutes of dictating. That would transcribe to anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 words. Then I would sit there for 30 minutes. Once I was at home, I would sit there and I would edit it up. And editing, I could get that 1,000 to 2,000 words into that 2,000 to 3,000 word range. And that was my old methodology of writing books before AI. So this is why this is not too different for me than writing how I used to write. So now we have kind of the outline, and this way I have something to follow, which is really cool. So I can copy and paste this. It's also right here in my Notion. Number 6. It just stands for Moralities of Marriage. It's not like mom, mean mom. So I have this information here, and I actually already copied it, and so I can come down here to chapter 20. So I can probably just work it the way it is, that we have Elizabeth Fitzwilliam is born. But if I paste it, it's there. So now we have the chapter Waiting on Arrival. So it's chapter 20. Okay, so we have chapter 20. I don't have chapter 20 in here yet. Oh, I have 2 19s. Why do I have 2 19s? Oh dear. Well, that will have to be something I fix. That's a good way. This is why you shouldn't write live, Elizabeth, because now I have Rosings Parks is chapter 18. Chapter 19 is the surgery. So this one, which is the departures, chapter 20. Yeah, I'll have to fix that off camera. That's too much to fix. But yeah, I messed up. So this one needs to be chapter 20, but then it won't match what that one is. Doesn't match Notion. So I'll have that note to myself to fix it later. All right. I think, we're pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. This is a pretty good session. I ended up with, we wrote that one last night. I say we wrote. This one was 878 words of raw draft, and then I have another 3,000 words of raw draft. So I'm going to call this session that we ended up with 4,000 words of draft. So not too bad for about an hour with all the field trips and me teaching as I went. So we ended up with 2 chapters, outlined and run through AI, about 4,000 words of rough draft to play with. Clean up. And by the way, the chapter numbers 19, 20, and 21 are messed up in master outline, stories so far, and Notion pages. So I'll have that note for me to fix. Okay, so let me go check the YouTube video, see if there's any last little things. Yeah, Magic School Bus after dark field trips to casinos. I like casinos. The noise of it and stuff, like, it helps me focus for some reason. I just need the stimulation of the sound sometimes. Hazard of working for myself at home for 15 something years. Sometimes when I want to be around people, but I don't actually want to talk to people because I want to do a different task, I like to go around where there's a lot of sound. All right. Yes, this was fun for me too. Thank you. I'm glad it was fun for you all. I will not be back until Friday morning. So I am hypothetically taking the day off tomorrow, but more than likely I'll be trying to sift through the now, I think it's up to like 8,000 words that we have rough draft that I need to kind of like figure out and make it kind of match everything. So thank you everyone for coming. There is a Future Fiction Academy lab tonight, Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. So we always have them at 9 p.m. You can join the Future Fiction Academy. It's free with a free 3-day trial. There's a monthly fee if you do decide to join. And the Rexy tool will be coming to the Future Fiction Academy probably in September. So it's never been a better time to join the Academy, in the sense that we are committing as a group of us that we're not going to take this change to our industry lying down. We're not going to go quietly into the night. We're going to fight by harnessing it for ourselves and our own creative projects. And I would love to see any of you in lab. So if this is part of your mission that you want to learn how to harness the AI, I just barely touched on the very tip of the iceberg in terms of what this can do. You can use AI for so many different things, and learning how to use it is so important. This video will stay up on YouTube for a while, Ingrid. I'll probably take it down maybe once Rexy's fully fledged out, because we don't really, Rexy would be embarrassed to have his early beginnings out on YouTube and everything like that. So what I might do is, when I take them down from YouTube, I'll bring them over into the lab so that you guys have them in the lab, because I have the ability to do that. Oh, thanks, Ryan. That's the best. You guys are the best. All right, I'll see you Friday morning with coffee. I think it's 9 a.m. or no, 10 a.m. Lord have mercy. It better not be 9 a.m. Oh, it's even better. It's noon. Noon Eastern time on Friday. And then there will be another session at 9 p.m. on Friday night. So those will be the last 2 sessions for this particular Write With Me, showing the techniques specific for how do I take a book that I'm in the middle of, 17 chapters, and how do I use AI to help me continue writing it? So that's been the focus of this. All right, everyone, have a great evening, afternoon, and good luck with your writing projects. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.